Howdy, 7th grade. Today we are going to be talking about area of a parallelogram, which I'm hoping is not too difficult of a concept. It should be pretty quick. So how we find the area of a parallelogram, before we delve into that, I want to talk about what a parallelogram is. I'm going to draw one real quick for us right here. So a parallelogram has a couple special things about it which make it really easy to work with. And the things that make it very nice is, first, the opposite sides are parallel. And that should be pretty obvious based on its name. Opposite sides are parallel. And if you didn't know, that means that these are headed in the same direction, right here and right there. And if they went on forever, they would never ever touch. They're going the same direction. And that's why it's called a parallelogram, because they are parallel. The second nifty thing is that opposite sides have the same length. So what that means is that if this side has a length of 3, this side has to have a length of 3. And if this side has a length of 5, then this side has to have a length of 5. So basically, these could be anything, but the opposites have to be the same length. If one side's one length, the opposite has to be the same. And from that, we should be able to find our area. So when we think of a parallelogram, what I want us to think of is a couple triangles. There's always going to be a way to cut a parallelogram into two triangles. And the way we're going to do that is by finding one corner and the opposite corner, and we're just going to cut it in half right there. And now that we have that cut in half, I have a triangle, and we know how to find the area of a triangle. Area of a triangle is going to be 1/2 base times height. And the area of this triangle up here is also going to be equal to 1/2 base times height. So the really nice things about parallelograms, again, is that the base here and the base here are going to be the same, and the height here and the height here are also going to be the same, which means that our area of our parallelogram is going to be 1/2 base times height plus 1/2 base times height. And if we combine like terms here, 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1, so it's just going to be base times height. The area of our parallelogram at the end of the day is base times height. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky because I want to show you guys what this is, and I especially want to show you guys what this is not. So we're going to start with the wrong way to do this. And the wrong way would be to have a length of 5 here and 10 here, and to say, well, base times height, 10 times 5 is 50, because that would be wrong. It's absolutely incorrect. And the reason that's incorrect is this number right here would not be the height. The height of our parallelogram is going to be from the bottom going straight up until we reach it. So for this, it would be a height of about 4. So what we would want to do is we would want to use the 4 and the 10 and not use the 5. So in this case, we would have 10 as our base times 4 as our height would give us 40. And that's what we're going to do every time we see one of these parallelogram problems, is we are going to take it, we are going to figure out what the height is, which is the distance from the bottom to the top, not the length of the side. So the height is always going to be the distance from bottom to top. To top. And if we make sure we keep that straight, we should be pretty good on these parallelogram problems. I want to show you guys one more thing real quick. Another way to look at this is we can think of a parallelogram as a rectangle that we just messed up a little bit. So if we start with a rectangle, and we're going to do this right here is the parallelogram I'm going to make, and I'm going to make it from a rectangle. So if I start with a rectangle right here that has a base of 10 and a height of 4, the area is definitely going to be 10 times 4, which is 40. But this doesn't quite look like our parallelogram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right along here, and then move this part over to this side. So this triangle, I am now moving over here, and suddenly this is the same shape as our parallelogram up top. So just by taking a rectangle and moving part of it, we can make a parallelogram. So if we see a parallelogram, we can think of it as its original rectangle, figure out what its height is, find its base, and from there we should be able to go straight into finding its area, which in this case is 10 times 4 is 40. I know this is a very, very short video, so I definitely need you guys to do the 6 practice problems we have. I'm hoping we kind of already know how to find the area of a parallelogram. Hopefully this is just review. So please take care of those practice problems for me, and I will see y'all next week.